I come from Cameroon, and I moved to the United States some years back with my children. And for some time, we lived with family, and I'd been looking forward to a time when we'll have our own place. And it turned out that God gave us a nice place in a nice neighborhood, and we moved in. I was always looking forward to the day my landlord will be able to introduce us to our neighbors, because it turned out that he lives downstairs and we live upstairs with another tenant. And I was hoping that, we'll be introduced to each other, but that never happened. And it took me back to memories home when, anytime you moved into a new neighborhood, your neighbors come around to say welcome and show all the warmth, so you can feel comfortable just moving in. But that didn't happen. I knew my neighbor always looked at us through the window. When we came in and when we're going out, I would see her through the window, but I'd never met her in person. And it so turned out that, the first time I met her was under very bizarre circumstances. We had taken out the trash, and my sons had taken out the trash, and I realized that I had some trash in the house. I wanted to take it out. So I took it out, and all the bags were orange in color, sorry. And I didn't know which one was mine. So I quickly went to the one I could easily untie, and I put in the trash. And I was walking upstairs into the house, and I saw this lady standing up there in the landing. She looked between late 50s and early 60s, kind of gray, a little bit short, very serious face. And I was like, this must surely be my neighbor, because she was actually in her pajamas. And as I was walking up the stairs to meet her, she talked to me very sternly. Why did you put your trash in my trash? That took me a little bit aback, because I was looking forward to meeting her, introducing myself, and all of that. And I was like, my trash in your trash? And she said, I saw you through the window. You put your trash in my trash. And I said, I am sorry about it. It was nothing. It's just vegetables that I realized were getting bad in my refrigerator. And I took advantage of the fact that trash was still outside to put it in. Nothing bad. And she apologized and said, I'm sorry, I'm not a bad neighbor. It's just that the previous tenants opposite me, we didn't come along. And we chatted a little bit, and we parted ways. As time went on, I discovered she lived alone. And so I told my boys, my sons, that anytime we are taking out the recycling barrel outside, because they're quite huge and heavy, and anytime they found hers out there, when they're bringing us in, they should bring hers in as well. And my sons were doing that. And they also took upon themselves, every time they realized she had a heavy meal on the porch of our landlord, they'll bring it up, for her. And so one day I heard a knock on my door, and when I opened the door, she was standing right there with a card and a pack of chocolate. And she told me, I just want to say thank you for your sons. They really have been helpful to me, and she told me the things they've been doing. And, from then, we had a very cordial relationship. Once in a while, we meet, at the parking lot, and we say hello, we exchange our nices. And that was it. I also found out that she had a cat. And so one day, as I was coming up, she came out and she was crying. And she told me her child just died. I was a little bit confused. Then she said her cat. And that she came home from Canada and there was nobody to welcome her, and she was really sad. And I hugged her and comforted her. And we chatted a little bit. And again, when COVID set in, we all know how things became. And I always see her through the window as usual. But on this day, she stepped out again when she realized I was coming up. And she told me, she asked how I was faring with my kids, that she sees us going in and out, and hoped we're taking good care of ourselves. I said we're doing the best we could. And she told me she was very lonely. And I told her everybody is. I just go to work and back. And 2 weeks later, I didn't see her car parked. So I thought she traveled. And a couple of weeks passed, and my landlord told me she was gone. And that she died because she was depressed. And actually, that she took her life. I was so sad and I felt so guilty because I thought to myself, could I have done better? Was I supposed to have been reaching out to her, knocking at her door, giving her a chance to communicate, to have some conversation? Was I beginning to lose the warmth I came to the United States with? Am I beginning to forget my culture? What was it I didn't do? Maybe if I'd done a little bit more, this lady would still be alive. And because of that, I told myself last Christmas, I bought a card for both my neighbors and packs of chocolate, and I put them at their doors. That was, in my mind, my way of reaching out to them. Unfortunately, nobody got back to me to say they got it. I felt really bad about that, but I told myself I'll keep doing it. A couple of weeks ago, my son, who was in Cameroon, just joined us. And after being with us a couple of days, he had looked through the window and he had asked me who the neighbors adjacent to us were. And I told him I didn't know them. And he asked me about the ones opposite us, and I said I didn't know them. And he had said, Mommy, is this how you live out here? And I said, son, welcome to America. This is America for you. But I told him that hopefully after this pandemic, we are going to reach out to them together. Hopefully, we'll make a difference.